Were there actually machines invented in the 1800s that could detect ghosts? As it turns out, yes. Starting in the 1840s, people began searching for ways to contact or at least detect the afterlife, with spiritualism being one of the era's most popular crazes. Many inventors thought they could combine the spiritual and the scientific. Here are a few of the most intriguing afterlife machines of the 1800s. First, the spirit telegraph. When electric telegraph started connecting people across continents in the 1840s, some inventors had a brilliant idea. Why not model a similar device to communicate with the dearly departed? These spirit telegraphs came in various forms, but most were essentially Ouija boards on steroids. The simplest ones had a pointer suspended above letters or numbers that could spell out messages. More elaborate models featured wires connected to batteries and coils that would light up or activate when a spirit tapped out a message. This device is an example of an unregulated, uninsulated telegraph key used in the late 19th century. The idea was that by tapping the key, the operator could make the pointer move. However, this wasn't exactly how a telegraph key worked. The original purpose was to send Morse code by completing a circuit and making a sound. But some people believed you could make the pointer move by merely placing your hand on it because the skin completes the circuit. So these spirit telegraphs weren't even using electricity the way a modern device does. But that didn't stop mediums from claiming that spirits were using them to communicate, and some alleged mediums even used them to demonstrate their powers. Now let's look at the electromagnetic ghost detector. This device came into being after researchers began noticing strange phenomena at seances. Some reported seeing needles on nearby galvanometers suddenly jump or spark. One researcher even saw a blue flame materialize in front of him. Was this the work of spirits? Well, it's possible, according to some investigators, to measure these mysterious effects. They created devices like this one here, which has a coil connected to a battery and a key. The idea was that psychic force or odic energy, as it was called, would cause the needle to spin. Although this device looks like an early version of a Tesla coil, the inventor was actually inspired by a different phenomenon. In the 1840s, German doctor and chemist Baron Karl von Reichenbach theorized that all living things emitted this vital force. This force could supposedly affect small electrical devices, and was supposedly what spiritualists were picking up on. So to measure it, he developed the odometer, which looked like an early version of a Geiger counter. Later investigators refined his design. Like this electromagnetic ghost detector made in 1852, it uses two discs connected to a galvanometer. According to spiritualist researchers, spirits could be detected by the sudden movements of the discs. Finally, we come to the phantasmagoria. While not a machine to contact the afterlife, it was certainly an attempt to capture it. The word phantasmagoria refers to any apparition or ghostly form, and in the 1840s, spiritualists wanted to see them. The first phantasmagoria appeared in the late 18th century, as lantern projectors were used to create ghostly images on a screen. Some scientists and entertainers experimented with showing these apparitions. But it wasn't until the 1850s that spiritualists began holding seances specifically to photograph these phantasms. Unfortunately, most of the resulting images turned out blurry and indistinct, possibly due to the long exposures needed to capture them. But that didn't stop spiritualists from believing that they'd actually managed to photograph ghosts. These are just a few of the more than 300 spirit-related patents filed in the United States between 1845 and 1925. Famous inventors like Thomas Edison also dabbled in afterlife detection. Allegedly, Edison worked on a spirit phone that could pick up the faint energies of souls. He spoke about it in a 1920 Scientific American interview, though some believe he was joking. Other inventors like Nikola Tesla weren't interested in ghosts, but their inventions ended up being used for afterlife detection anyway. Tesla's radio experiments sometimes picked up strange signals that couldn't be explained. and some later claimed that he was trying to communicate with spirits. Although mainstream science ignored these devices, they were the predecessors of today's ghost hunting tools, which include EMF meters, spirit boxes, and EVP recorders. But the desire to understand and detect the afterlife has driven innovation since the dawn of humanity. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to see more. Until next time, remember, the past is never dead. It's waiting for us to discover it.